Hello everyone, this is Israel's Salvation. I'm just going to make this video quick to the point before YouTube or the internet shuts down. This video is about earthing or grounding. Earthing or grounding, that's when you take your bare feet and put it on the earth's surface. That's on the grass, concrete, cement, and on a sidewalk. If you take a metal rod, stick it on the ground of the earth, and you touch that rod, you become grounded too with the earth because of the metallic force. Now, there are a lot of skeptics out there claiming earthing must be fake because it's not in the Bible. Well, I can prove everybody wrong. Earthing, it is in the Bible. The Most High isn't stupid. He knows what we must do to take care of our bodies, to reach Him on a spiritual level. Now, I'm just going to get to the scriptures to prove to you that earthing is in the Bible. Alright? And then I'm going to explain some of its benefits. We are going to read Exodus to see who took off their shoes to get earthing. Okay, let's read Exodus chapter 3, verse 4. And when Ahayah saw that he turned aside to see, Ahayah called unto him out of the midst of the bush, and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not nigh, hither. Put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for thy place wherein thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Ahayah. Here is another precept. Acts 7, chapter, verses 30. And when 40 years were expired, there appeared to him in the wilderness of Mount Sinai an angel of Ahayah in a flame of fire in a bush. When Moses saw it, he wondered at the sight, and as he drew near to behold it, the voice of Ahayah came unto him, saying, I am the God of thy fathers, the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Then Moses trembled, and durst not behold. Then said Ahayah to him, Put off thy shoes from thy feet, for the place where thou standest is holy ground. There I have given two precepts about Moses when he ground himself to connect to the Most High. I'm also going to give some scriptures on Elijah when he ground himself, because when you receive power of the Most High, it is too much for the body to handle. You have to ground yourself to the earth to dissipate the energy so your body can receive it properly. Let's read 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 2. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, So let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not thy life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. And when he saw that, he arose, and went for his life, and came to Beersheba, which belongeth to Judah, and left his servant there. But he himself went a day journey into the wilderness, and came and sat down under a juniper tree. And he requested for himself that he might die, and said, It is enough now, Ahayah, take away my life, for I am not better than my fathers. And as he lay and slept under a juniper tree, behold, then an angel touched him, and said unto him, Arise and eat. If you read down further, it will show you that Elijah went back under the same tree and slept again. It shows you that the tree grounded him, because the tree is connected to the earth, and that his body laid under the tree, so his body touched the tree and the earth. He knew about the grounding power. If he was still afraid of Jezebel, he would have kept running and not lay under that same tree. It shows you proof that the grounding effect calmed his body down. At the bottom of the description box, I will include a video link to prove to you, even with your pinky finger, touching the tree, you're still grounded. Okay, now we're going to read Genesis to prove to you that even Abraham knew about earthing. Let's read Genesis 18, verse 1. And Ahayah appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself towards the ground, and said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts, after that ye shall pass on. For therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, So do as thou hast said. And Abraham hasted into the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth. And Abraham ran unto the herd, and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hasted to dress it. And he took butter and milk, and the calf which he had dressed it, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. So Abraham stood under the tree with the men, or the angels really. Standing under a tree or near a tree will ground you with the earth power. Okay, next, let's go even further. Let's read about a great king who has the Messiah's bloodline. His name is King David. He also walked barefoot among the earth. 2 Samuel chapter 15, verse 30. And David went up by the ascent of Mount Olives, and wept as he went up, and had his head covered. And he went barefoot, and all the people that was with him covered every man his head. And they went up, weeping as they went up. And one told David, saying, Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. And David said, O Ahayah, I pray thee, turn thou counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness. And it came to pass that when David was come to the top of the mount where he worshipped Ahayah, behold, Hushai the archit came to meet him with his coat rent and earth upon his head. As we have read 2 Samuel chapter 15 verse 30, King David went barefooted on the earth because he was in a sad state of mind after what his son Absalom did. He knew the earth has power to lend him, to strengthen him, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Let's read Joshua chapter 5 verse 13. And it came to pass, when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him, with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him, and said unto him, Art thou for us, or for our adversaries? And he said, Nay, but as captain of the host of Ahayah am I now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth. That means he touched the ground with his face to the earth, his hands and his face and head, and did worship, and said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant? And the captain of Ahayah host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place wherein thou standest is holy and Joshua did so. So Joshua also, like Moses and King David, he went barefoot among the earth and got grounded with the earth power. Let's read Isaiah chapter 20 verse 2. At the same time spake Ahayah by Isaiah, the son of Amos, saying, Go and loose thy sackcloth from off thy loins, and put off thy shoe from thy foot. And he did so, walking naked and barefoot. And Ahayah said, Like as my servant Isaiah hath walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia, so shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians prisoners and the Ethiopians captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt. So we read clearly in Isaiah that Isaiah walked it barefooted and butt naked, but he wasn't doing that publicly, walking butt naked. These prophets have their own secret room when they connect to the Most High. If you watch many grounded videos, some people do go naked on the ground at their own private place. But overall, it shows that all these prophets have walked barefooted among the ground to have a better reception of the Most High's vision and power. Okay, now let's read the book of Joshua, chapter 47, verse 9. And when Isaac had finished commanding Jacob and his children, he gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people. And Jacob and Esau fell upon the face of their father Isaac, and they wept. And Isaac was 180 years old when he died in the land of Canaan, in Hebron. And his son carried him to the cave of Machpelah, which Abraham had bought from the children of Heth, for a possession of a burial place. And all the kings of the land of Canaan went with Jacob and Esau to bury Isaac. And all the kings of Canaan show Isaac great honor at his death. And the sons of Jacob and the sons of Esau went barefooted around about, walking and lamenting, until they reached Kiriath Arba. And Jacob and Esau buried their father Isaac in the cave of Machpelah, which is in Kiriath Arba in Hebron. And they buried him with very great honor, as at the funeral of kings. As we had read in the book of Joshua, chapter 47, verse 10 up to verse 13, that Jacob and Esau went barefooted when they were lamenting over their father or weeping. The same thing as we read in 2 Samuel about King David. When he was weeping, he went barefooted too. This shows you that being barefooted upon the grounds of the earth help you balance yourself out. The earth will do that for you. Now let's read the book of Joshua, chapter 56, verse 37. And Joseph placed upon the head of his father Jacob a large golden crown, and he put a golden scepter in his hand, and they surrounded the bearer, as was the custom of kings during their lives. And all the troops of Egypt went down before him in this array. At the first, all the mighty men of Pharaoh and the mighty men of Joseph, and after them the rest of the inhabitants of Egypt, and they were all girded with swords and equipped with coats of mail, and the trappings of war were upon them. And all the reapers and mourners went at a distance opposite to the bearer, going and reaping and lamenting, and the rest of the people went after the bearer. And Joseph and his household went together, near the bearer, barefooted, and weeping, and the rest of Joseph's servants went around him. Each man had his ornaments upon him, and they were all armed with their weapons of war. Now I'm going to reveal even further that we are in the end times and that the earth is going to heal us. Let's read Revelations 12 verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of Ahayah, and have the testimony of the Savior Christ. This is the time that we are living in now, when we need to get in touch with Mother Earth in order to restore our health. Also, in Revelations 12:17, the woman they were speaking of is Israel. And the seed line of Israel are the 12 tribes that are being attacked by the devil every day because we are honoring the Ten Commandments and the other commandments to the best of our abilities. Christians can't make an excuse now and say, well, the Bible and the New Testament never said honor the commandments. Well, it just said it. In Revelations chapter 12, verse 17, it just mentioned that we honored the commandments and the devil attacked us because of it. So anyway, I'm going to move on now. Okay now guys, check this out. I'm going to prove to you that Christ's disciples knew about grounding. Now let's read Matthew 17 verse 1. And after 6 days, Yeshai taketh Peter, James, and John his brother, and bringeth them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elias. Elias is Elijah, talking with him. Then answered Peter and said unto Yeshai, Ahayah, or Master, or Lord, how you want to say it, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elias, or Elijah. While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and were sore afraid. So they were outside when this happened, and the Messiah disciples fell on their face. Now, when you fall or go on your face, you're not on the floor because you're outside, you're on the ground. So the ground is stabilizing them because that power is too great for them. The Most High power is so great that man can't bear it. You have to ground yourself. Now let me finish this last part. Matthew 17 verse 7. And Yeshai came and touched them and said, Arise and be not afraid. Now I'm going to show you that how powerful we are and how powerful we can become if you absorb enough good energy through the soles of your feet. Romans chapter 16 verse 19. For your obedience is come aboard unto all men. I am glad therefore on your behalf. But yet I would have you wise unto that which is good, and simple concerning evil. And Ahayah of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly. The grace of Ahayah, Yeshai, Christ, be with you, so be it. Now here's another great scripture of the Bible that is similar to Romans chapter 16 verse 19. Let's read Malachi chapter 4 verse 2. But unto you that fear my name shall be the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall, and ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith Ahayah of hosts. So the devil, in all his negative energy and all his wickedness, are going to be in the bottom of the soles of our feet. That is why when we walk barefooted outside or use an earthing device, we feel a lot better, and all that negative energy will leave from our bodies to the soles of our feet. Anything that's evil, negative, it is still part of Satan. Now let me show you how powerful our Savior's feet was when people who were sick touched it. Let's read the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 28. Then Yeshua answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith, be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. And Yeshua departed from thence, and came nigh unto the sea of Galilee, and went up to a mountain, and sat there. And great multitude came unto him, having with them those that were lame, blind, dumb, maimed, and many others, and cast them down at Yeshua's feet, and he healed them. So they touched his feet, and he healed them. Christ was about holy and clean energy. When he absorbed enough earth power, which he didn't really need, when they touched his feet, a lot of that positive energy went through them. If you ground yourself or earth yourself and you touch a person, that person become earth with you. I'm just letting you all know that. Here is another powerful verse of the Bible that speaks about shaking the dust off your feet. Let's open Mark chapter 6 verse 11. And whosoever shall not receive you nor hear you, ye shall depart thence. Shake off the dust under your feet for a testimony against them. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. If you are from the islands like my family are, there's a belief that when you walk to a person's house and they're wicked, you want to dust your feet or your shoes you're walking on, because